Minister, people have referred to anecdotal evidence around bogus self-employment, and I mean, absolutely, there are many examples of anecdotal evidence, but there are rock-solid cases where real, tangible evidence. I mean, it is endemic out there in many areas of employment. Examples have been given in construction. And there's been recent examples in my own constituency and other constituencies where construction workers engaged in publicly funded housing projects where the company behind it have gone into receivership, subsequently gone into examinership, and the people who should have been in proper employment but were in bogus self-employment ended up getting diddly squat, nothing. They got 1 cent in the euro in which they were owed. They didn't get any of their entitlements whatsoever, 1 cent in the euro. Many were stung in 2 cases for the 3rd time, by different employers where they should have been properly employed, they were screwed over. So that is one example. There's other examples in this House, and I've been made aware of a scoping exercise currently being undertaken by member or staff within this House that, in my mind, should be properly employed, but have been put in a self-employment situation. So, you know, and of course we have the state broadcaster, RTE, and in fairness, Philip Boucher-Hayes has done Trojan work exposing the rot that is in existence within our national broadcaster. And that is rock-solid evidence. And I was taken aback when the department officials came into the committee where a really important piece of work is being undertaken over the next number of months, looking at the whole area of bogus self-employment. The opening statement from the officials said they didn't think it was as widespread as has been, aired. You know, there's rock-solid evidence there, there's anecdotal evidence there, and that's why I was very critical of the PR campaign launched by the department during the summer, you know, asking people who feel that they've been put in bogus self-employment to come forward and speak out. And, you know, to hear the officials at that committee meeting saying, you know, they were actually taken aback by the low volume of people that did come forward. People are petrified to come forward, speak out, because there are no protections there for them. And that's why there was a low uptake in that. Yes, there needs to be awareness, absolutely, but there needs to be legislation, there needs to be protections there for people. And we know that it's costing, I think a conservative estimate is €600 million in lost social insurance payments over, I think it was a 3-year period. And I genuinely believe that's a conservative estimate. And leaving aside the financial end, the more important are the protections, the long-fought, hard-won entitlements, benefits, rights that workers and their unions have won over many years, all gone because of the existence of bogus self-employment. When Deputy OD brought this forward at I think it was report stage, I was a bit critical at that stage because, you know, I would have much preferred to see it brought in and the proper scrutiny to be able to be applied to it, and committee hearing, etc. And I know that the Minister did at report stage, she cited serious concerns that it would delay the bill actually coming forward and being put into law. In my opening remarks here this evening, you know, I took issue with the fact that there is going to be a 3-month delay. You know, the 1st of March, I'd much rather see this come into law straight away as opposed to workers having to wait 3 months. The Minister has said there's going to be serious delays. So can she expand on that? Can she elaborate on that? If that is the case, certainly workers cannot wait. You know, this needs to be put in place right away. So if the Minister could elaborate on that. There is the need for a standalone piece of legislation to do away with bogus self-employment. And I'm conscious that there are a number of opposition pieces of legislation brought forward, including from Solidarity. And Sinn Féin, we had said previously we would look at doing something. At this stage, we're saying we're not. We will row in behind the opposition legislation that has been brought forward. And I think that is rock-solid legislation, Minister. So there's no need for you to go off, or your officials to go off and start looking at this. If you are serious, and I take you at your word that you are serious at dealing with the issue of bogus self-employment, you would look at that legislation that has been brought forward and you'd advance it as swiftly as possible. You know, 6 months have passed it already since we debated this back at report stage back in June, July, whenever it was. And absolutely nothing has come forward from yourself or your department. The opposition legislation could have been advanced in that space of time, you know, to deal with this issue straight away. So just to conclude, Cahir, look, we need this brought in straight away. You know, whilst the issue of bogus self-employment absolutely needs to be tackled, I don't think workers in precarious employment can afford to wait, you know, 3 months. I was critical of the Minister there saying that, you know, the 1st of March. If workers are told that they need to wait another 6 months on top of that or whatever, workers cannot afford to wait that long. The unions are calling for this, you know, to support the amendment being withdrawn. I too have supported that, you know, and on that basis I'm supporting this, and Sinn Féin will be supporting the removal of this amendment.